Spacey Sims, and we are back with more X Malice Unlimited in Yanagi's route still, and we're just picking up where we left off, not yesterday, but the day before. So, anyway, here you go. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, right, we already read some. Anyway, I was like, why does that seem familiar? I forgot. It's been a day. I placed the mugs of freshly brewed coffee on the table, I placed the mugs of freshly brewed coffee on the table, returned the courtesy words of thanks, and sat down next to Yanagi. I can't read. 2 days ago, Yanagi had invited his brother Yuji to sit down for a discussion. Apparently, his brother had been reaching out to Yanagi constantly over the last 3 weeks. Each time, Yanagi had patiently listened to his brother's requests, but had resisted giving him any concrete plans. It was all in preparation for today. You've taken the initiative to call me here, then you must finally be ready. First, I want you to look at this. Yanagi passed several documents to his brother. With a suspicious expression, Yuji looked down at the papers. After a moment, he suddenly went pale. Oh my god, we get a CG of his brother? He's hot in the CG. I mean, he's kind of a douchebag, but he looks good in the CG. It's the suit, really. Anyway, These are affairs your company is involved in that society would probably consider embarrassing to you. You're not directly involved in them, but there's also no way that you can deny that you don't have any connection to this stuff. I'm sure it'd be a problem if these went public. There's enough here that if a journalist got a hold of this story, you'd never recover. Oh my god! So, Yuji was gonna kind of blackmail you into joining the police again, and now you're gonna blackmail him into not blackmail? This is fucking great. One might very well say that the entire fortune of the company rests on it. Corruption exists everywhere, but the larger the company, the greater the fall. Lovely. Wow. The weapon Yanagi had chosen to wield against his brother was a threat to expose the corrupt affairs that his company was involved in. Even if his brother had kept his hands clean, the information was damaging enough that he'd definitely prefer to keep it under wraps. I see. So you want to make a deal. You've certainly done your homework. I suppose you've got some detective skills. You're not third-rate at the very least. I see now that I underestimated what you were doing as child's play. I'm already 28. How long are you going to treat me like a child? Forever. That's what older siblings do. And so what? Yuji removed any trace of emotion from his face as he replied. There was neither unrest nor anger in his tone. He was keeping his calm, waiting to see what Yanagi's next move would be. Even if I don't expose you, the chances of this information eventually leaking are high. After all, I found all this on my own. Is it, though? It wouldn't be easy for the media or other agencies to dig this deeply, not without official connections. That's my point. If someone's willing to be ruthless, this is what they can uncover. But at the moment, you still have the chance to minimize the damage. You can try to cover it up with a front operation, but doing that might actually call down more suspicion while only muddling the details at best. And this all assumes that you don't run afoul of the law somewhere along the way. Doesn't that go against your principles? I'm not trying to be a hero for all of society, but I will fight to protect what's important to me within my reach. I want to help the people who put their trust in me and depend on me. That's why I want to keep being a private detective. And your price? I won't rejoin the police, ever. Never bring it up again. So quit your lurking about and running underhanded schemes to try and drag my business down. Never come near her again. Also, there's still more? Even if it's just an occasional visit, I want you to find some time for us to talk. As a family. Aww. I'm not talking about doing so to keep up your public image or to make deals like this. I want us to have normal conversations. Small talk, our likes and dislikes, are what makes us happy. This is so cute. I've never done any of that before, so I want to give it a try. I want to reconnect as a family and come to terms with what happened. I know that I caused you a lot of trouble with what I did back in high school. I'm truly sorry for that. But I want a chance to make up for it. If I push people away and keep my distance because I'm afraid of hurting them, I can't protect them either. It is kind of funny, though, because, like, let's just, like, the shit that you do in, like, American society in high school reflects on you. But, like, if my sister was a scumbag, they might do, depending on the job, background checks and be like, your whole family's a bunch of con artists. I don't think we can trust you. And, like, there's certain jobs where, like, oh, does your family work for another company that might be competing against us? That could be a problem. Like, but for the most part, if my sister was a delinquent in high school, it does not affect my ability to get hired at a job or, like, make me look bad. It's like, you know, you are your own person. Your family is their own people. So it's kind of funny that in this, it's like, you're going to make me look bad because you did some stupid shit in high school. First of all, it was high school. Everybody did stupid shit. Most people did stupid shit. But, like, it's so weird that, like, or you're a private detective. It's going to make me look bad because your job isn't up to par. Like, it's so weird. I mean, I get it. It's a cultural thing, but it's just so weird when you're sitting on this side where you're like, my sister, like, so, like, what if she went to, like, I mean, I guess it depends on what she went to jail for if she went to jail, but you know what I mean? Like, if she did stupid shit, oh, she got caught shoplifting when she was, like, 15. It's not gonna be like, oh my god, we can't hire you because your sister's a delinquent. It's like, okay, we don't give a shit. Like, nobody cares what my sister did in high school. Like, it doesn't affect me getting a job. It might if I was arrested for a felony. I have to put it on a job application. You know what I mean? But, like, even that, oh, yeah, I was arrested for shoplifting at 15. You know, I was just a stupid kid. Okay. Like, that might impact depending on what job you're going for and stuff. But, like, oh my god, my third cousin twice removed did something horrible and now I can't get a job. Like, dude, other people's inability to, like, stay within the law is not my fault. Like, it's weird. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. It might take a while, but if we can talk and come to understand each other, then we can support each other and we'll be stronger in the end. It's taken me a long time to realize this. Even if I've been hurt, we still have a connection that binds our futures together. I want to believe that. I know this is all just a lot of empty talk right now. I won't ask you to forgive me right away. But please, just consider it. Yuji hadn't interrupted. He had kept a stern expression, never for a moment taking his eyes off Yanagi. All right, I know now that you won't return to the police force. After several awkwardly silent minutes, his brother said that one sentence and stood up from the sofa. Nothing about the other stuff, huh? Oh. I see I've wasted my time here. And then he left without a hint of hesitation. Yanagi and I sat alone in the office, a nervous silence hanging between us. At least Yanagi tried, right? He's like, I want us to be able to be brothers. And his brother's like, psh, I guess you won't go back to the police. And just left, and it's like, it's up to you now. Ball's in your court. I wonder if you got through to your brother. Hard to say. It's fine, though. I didn't expect him to give in on the first try. He was more upbeat than I'd expected, despite his brother calling the visit a waste of time. This is going to take time to work itself out. I'm not giving up, though. One day he'll understand. Of course, that was how Yanagi worked. This setback wasn't enough to make him give up. He was smiling in a bold yet gentle way. From behind, I wrapped my arms around him. 5:12, 1:42 p.m. I stifled a yawn. I stifled a yawn. Okay, that was supposed to be stifling a yawn, sure. I was feeling sleepy as I neared the end of my night shift. I'm going to stifle a yawn now. You can't read the word yawn without... Okay. Mochino, you should go home. Yeah, I will. Thanks. Mochita, the night shift manager, called out to me at the moment I was trying to hold in my yawn. Are you working the night shift today, Mochita? You just said he was the night shift manager. Like, here you go. I gave him some candy that I brought the day before my shift, and I bought the day before my shift. Well, anyway. And Mochita smiled warmly. Thanks. By the way, how's your wife doing? Having to work long nights while you're worried about her during her pregnancy must be tough. Well, yeah. Luckily, she's gotten over her morning sickness, so things are easier now. Mochita's voice, I feel like, changes every single time he shows up, and I'm sorry, but whatever. That sounds rough. We're gonna have another adorable kid. It's definitely worth the trouble. Plus, she's gonna bring me dinner. I told her not to push herself while she's pregnant, but Then she said, I'm going shopping anyway and I want to see your face. Look at how fucking adorably happy he looks. Oh my god. Mochita's the best. I've read that there are some people who want to I want to be with Mochita's stupid wife. No, I don't. Mochita's like your dad. You're like, Mochita, you're like my best dad friend. Like, I know Yanagi's the dad of the detective agency, but Mochita is like legit dad. He just loves his wife so much and he loves his kids and he's just so happy. And you're like, you just want to be Mochita. I'm not saying I want a wife and kids. I don't want a husband and kids. Okay, I just don't want kids. But like, you just want to be so fucking happy with your life that every little thing is just great. He's just like, my poor wife is pregnant, but I'll take care of her. It's all right. She's been really grumpy and she yelled at me, but it's totally okay because, I understand. Poor woman's uncomfortable. Like, he's just so fucking... He's a ball of fucking sunshine. And that's usually the way the MC heroines are. Our little heroines are always like, I'm a ball of sunshine. But they're a ball of sunshine where you're like, yeah, but I think you're a ball of sunshine with only like 4 brain cells. Because they act kind of stupid sometimes. Like, it's not, I'm happy and smart. It's, I'm happy because I don't really know anything. That's how they act a lot of the times, which is what irritates me. But Mochita's just fucking happy without being an idiot. And why can't we be like that? Why do we have to be kind of stupid and naive? Mochita's not naive. He's just fucking happy and fuzzy. And I just love Mochita for existing, okay? And I'm just glad he's there as a side character. All of the side characters in this are fucking great, to be honest. I mean, bon appetit, lover boy. I found myself grinning at how proud Mochita was of his family. He's just proud of everything. He's proud of us. He's just proud that he woke. He's proud that it's Monday. He's just... Look, Mochita is like... He's something else, okay? There's no words to describe him. His first child was already about to enter elementary school, yet here he was acting like a newlywed as he awaited their second child. How long have you two been married again? 8 years. 8? It's already been that long? And you're still all lovey-dovey? That's the dream. You're going to be like, 25 years, and you're acting like you just got married last week, right? Isn't that cute? It's what everybody wants. You want to be so sickeningly cute that people are like, are you ever going to get out of the honeymoon phase? It's been 50 fucking years. No. We're always going to be this cute. That's the dream. Mochita's the dream. That's what it is. Being Mochita is the fucking dream. For me personally, I just meant the happy about everything. Anyway. Well, I did get married when I was 24. So what's your secret? The question slipped out. I was terribly curious. As someone who wanted a love that burned brightly forever, I had to know. My secret? That's a good question. We have fights like any other couple, Maybe that's the trick. The key is not to put off a dispute until later. We have a rule that we'll speak up as soon as something bothers us. I see. That's valuable advice. One should never tackle a problem alone. If a relationship became a constant test of either partner's patience, then something was wrong. But if a couple had good communication, then one person would never shoulder the burden alone. Also, the most important thing is that I super duper love my wife. With that remark, I almost felt like I could see Mochita literally glowing with happiness. I'd love to have a marriage like you two. I felt a gentle warmth in my chest, calming me. Whoa, what? Hoshino, you're getting married? No! I reflexively snapped at the unexpected bombshell question from behind. I assumed it was our... Oh no! I assumed it was our rookie. The one time I don't assume it's Sakuragawa. It's fucking Sakuragawa. The fuck? This game, this path has fucked me every time. Every time I'm like, is it Sakuragawa? It's never fucking her. The one time it was... You had to know that was gonna fucking happen. Anyway. Oh, Sakuragawa. What's up? Sakuragawa, how long have you been listening in?
There's been a rash of burglaries, so the boss wanted us to demonstrate the MO to SRCPO. By the way, here are the papers you wanted.
Thanks. Mochita just went about business with Sakuragawa as if she hadn't just asked me an outrageous question. Did I just imagine that? I found my mind inventing excuses to escape from reality. Me every goddamn day.
So, Hoshino, are you finally getting married?
But my flimsy constructs were torn apart, and I found myself yanked back into reality. I told you that I'm not. We were talking about Mochita's wife, not me.
Oh, really? Iyanagi seems like he's the type to seal the deal quickly. I figured you'd already be officially off the market.
My eyes widened at how at how casually Sakuragawa had just declared that opinion. I mean, I technically am officially off the market because we're dating. Is that like a temporary off the market until you get married and then you're officially off the market? I don't know how these things work, okay? What kind of man does Sakuragawa picture him as? I was surprised that she saw Yanagi as someone so forward, for starters. As his lover, I wanted to put that misconception of him to rest. Yanagi is a man of integrity.
Huh. Well, he does seem pretty straight-laced. So you're saying he doesn't storm the castle from the front gates, but that he lays a siege and slowly fords the moat? He takes the time until he's got you cornered in the castle with no way out.
Yeah, that seems right. What's with all this awfully specific imagery?
Call it a woman's intuition.
You're terrifying. But she wasn't necessarily painting a negative picture of him. I thought that it highlighted how he was intelligent and cunning. Oh, Shino, you're still only 21, right? There's no need to rush things. Once you get married, it won't just be about the two of you anymore. You'll have to deal with each other's families. Whoa, where is this coming from? We weren't even talking about this.
Invite me to the wedding, okay?
Hey!
You've fantasized about it already, haven't you?
That one struck a nerve. I couldn't lie and say I hadn't. I mean, okay, look. Not all of us imagined our weddings and planned it at 5 years old and had pretend like, oh, I'm wearing a veil and I'm imagining my wedding. Not all of us did that. But all of us at some point in time have been like, ah, and like, okay. We've all done it at some point in our lives. No, I did not have my wedding planned when I was like fucking 5. Like a lot of girls, okay? I did not do that. When I actually was planning a wedding, I was like, I don't know, I don't give a shit. Because I didn't actually want to marry the person I was marrying. You know what? Look, just trust your instincts. Anyway. But like, don't think I haven't been like, we all want to wear a pretty wedding dress at some point. Look, everybody wants to wear a fucking wedding dress, okay? Everybody. Also want to wear a sexy suit or a tux. I want to look good in a tux too. But I still want a goddamn wedding dress. Because wedding dresses are like ball gowns. Like right now you're like, oh yeah, I want to put on a ball gown. Am I the only person who like with my friends used to actually go to like stores and be like during prom season, even when we were in college, and was like, let's go try on the ball gowns. Just for fun. Oh god. Especially when they started like you get later and later and they actually make plus size dresses. You know, because when I was fat in high school, they didn't have plus size shit, so you had to wear like ugly crap. Like just didn't have nice, pretty prom dresses because I was a fat kid. And like as you get older, and even now they have like plus size clothes. So you're like, sweet, I can actually put on a nice ball dress and be plus size. Now, you know what? Now I want to go fucking prom dress shopping, even though I will never go. Way too fucking old. So fucking old. Just want to put on a ball gown. I'm just gonna get one and walk around my house in it. Why not? Yeah, you know what? I wear fancy 50s dresses to work when I used to go to work back in the day.
Back in the days before quarantine, kiddos.
Anyway. That one struck a nerve. I couldn't lie and say I hadn't. Again, we all have at some point. Whether you were 5 or 25, doesn't matter. At some point you thought about your wedding, or you thought about wearing a wedding dress. Well, I am a girl after all, so...
And I bet Yanagi has too.
He pictured himself in a wedding dress? That's a little odd, but sure, whatever floats his boat. You think he has fantasies? Everyone has fantasies, girl, stop. His are usually men, just probably not about a wedding. Sometimes maybe, but their fantasies would differ from ours, I would just guess, but... About marrying me? Again, maybe not. Oh, of course he does. Despite our tough exteriors. Oh my god, Mochita does not have a tough exterior. Men are all dreamers and romantics at our core. This is why I love Mochita. Aside from the fact that there is no way you have a tough exterior, you are like a fucking snowball. Like, you know, I mean, those like pink spongy cake things, those are called snowballs, right? That's what he looks like. He's like a little fucking, he's one of those, okay? He's a little, never even had one, because aren't they like coconut? But anyway, that's what they're called, right? That's what he is. He's one of those, like this pink coconutty spongy cake things. Soft and squishy and cream filled. That's you, Mochita. That is fucking you. But also, I just love we're all dreamers and romantics deep down. Oh, faith in humanity restored. It's The ones that are fighting against it and becoming toxic that suck. But, you know, the Mochitas of the world. I have dreams. I just love spoiling my wife and my kid. Yeah, oh god, we all need a Mochita in our life. Okay, anyway. What? Hello, this is SRCPO. Fortunately, I was saved by the internal phone line ringing. I picked up the phone and answered, my voice a rough mix of expectation and embarrassment. There's a guest here for Miss Hoshino. He said his name is Yuji Yanagi. What? For better or worse, the feeling I was struggling with a moment ago were trampled over by this next shock. Will that be all for your order? If so, please enjoy. The server brought us coffee and politely departed. As I watched her go, Yuji Yanagi, who had been silent this whole time, finally opened his mouth. Is everything going well at work? Yes, I just finished working my shift. I see. I'm sorry to take up your time. You must be quite tired. Please, it's no bother at all. But like, what the fuck are you doing here? Silence fell upon the table again. To be honest, I had no idea what to do. Yuji had come and paid me a visit at the police station, and then we had gone to this cafe. Most of the time had passed in silence. Everyone else is like, this is the most awkward date. What's he gonna say to me? Maybe I should contact Yanagi. So far, Yuji had been completely polite. I didn't feel like he had come to pick a fight. While I was trying to divine his intentions, he suddenly made his move. I'm truly sorry. What? Yuji faced me and bowed deeply. First, let me apologize for investigating you. You'd done me no wrong, but I committed an insensitive act against you for my own benefit. And you ended up being dragged into our family dispute. I cannot apologize enough for that. Wow, you're not a terrible human being after all. Look, please raise your head. You don't need to be so apologetic to me, and you don't need to be so formal with me. Sir, Yuji, to you, I must seem like a child, or maybe even a toddler would be more accurate. Okay. I admit, being old, you look at the people in their 20s like, oh, you're just little babies. But like, it is actually weird. I must seem like a toddler to you. I mean, a little bit, but not exactly. Like, not all the time. Just sometimes. All right, I'll drop the formalities. Though you are young, but I still see you as a fine, respectable adult. Yuji looked up at me, a gentle look on his face. Of course, then again, to old fuckers like me, Yuji's like, you're a little bit of a baby, too. You better go back off to the 8th grade, sweetie. I'm old. It was the kindest expression I had ever seen him make. I was so happy back then. I've been wanting to thank you. Thank me? For what? During our last encounter, when I saw Aiji face me and tell me his feelings directly, I realized that my brother had truly changed. And I don't mean that he's learned to fit in with society or that he's rebuilt his reputation. Aiji's never been able to express his feelings well. He's skilled with his hands, but terribly awkward at dealing with other people. It's kind of adorable. When he committed that assault years ago, it sent him down a lonely path. Even after he joined the police force, I'm sure he was a lone wolf. You are the one who saved my brother, aren't you? Words aren't enough to express my gratitude. Mochita was right. All men are soft squishies on the inside. Look, because he definitely has the tough exterior. I'm gonna fucking goad you into doing all this shit that I say, and then he's like, oh my god, my brother is like, I'm gonna cry. He's crying on the inside. With joy. He's weeping with joy, and it's just adorable. You know, this is what Mochita was talking about. I'm honored. Yuji didn't look like he was lying. He seemed like he was being completely honest. Compared to our past meetings, he said his soul so bare. He laid his soul so bare that it gave me chills. He was so cold towards Yanagi. I just couldn't imagine him acting the same way towards his little brother. And this is embarrassing to admit, but my wanting him to better his standing in life so it would further my own career was half true, but it was also half pretext. I thought that if my brother, someone who'd always spurned society, could work within the rules again, he could also reconcile with our family. Oh. I was sure that it would motivate him to wipe out any lingering guilt he felt. I envisioned that all on my own without asking him what he felt. Look at his sweet face when he looks happy and he's not looking at you angry. Aw, he does have the Yanagi face. There's something in the eye. It's just like, yeah, it's that soft sweetness. Oh, I want to pat him on the head. Oh, good boy. You look like you were a jackass, but you're actually soft and squishy on the inside, just like Mochita said. I'm just saying. Yuji flashed a bitter smile, one that was not unlike his brother's. I convinced myself that IG rejoining the police was for his own good. I didn't doubt that at all. If he did, I thought it would pave the way towards rebuilding our family and letting bygones be bygones. And yes, I did intend to use forceful methods to accomplish my ends, but I was the foolish one all along. I didn't realize it until he told me his true feelings. Rather than pushing me away or mutely obeying me under protest, he told me directly. Yuji, IG, you're both so awkward. The entire escapade was Yuji acting out of familial concern for his brother, but their attitudes and methods were so different they never recognized each other's goodwill. You may be right. So you've come here just to say that? Yes, but... Yuji looked away and cleared his throat uneasily. What could it be now? Don't try to hit on me! He didn't seem like a man who had trouble finding words, so this came as a surprise. I'm ashamed to say this, but after being away from IG for so long, I don't really know anything about him. I see. Just as he said the other day, I'd also like more opportunities to get to know him, then call him and actually talk. I don't know. It's like, duh. Okay. And I thought I'd try asking you, the woman that he's in love with. I couldn't help but giggle at the incredibly tortured way in which he asked me for help. Oh, these two brothers were so awkward. It reminded me of myself when I had no idea how to approach Yanagi. I used to often ask Akito and Kazuki. I wasn't brave enough to approach my brother directly. Wait, what? I used to often ask Akito about Kazuki. Okay, I thought it was saying, like, I asked Akito and Kazuki how to approach, and then it's like, I couldn't approach my brother directly. I thought we were talking about Yanagi. That's why I read that wrong. Okay, anyway. I'll answer any questions you have. Oh, but only if they're things I can talk about. I wouldn't want Yanagi to be upset with me for spilling private info. Yuji's showing a lot of courage for wanting to get to know his brother better. I hope it's not a scam, because I'll be sad. I hope he's really just squishy soft on the inside. He had probably come to me first to avoid clashing with his brother. I could relate, and I wanted to help him. And in the end, Yanagi agreed to go with me. IG did? I can't even imagine him acting like that. He said that he wanted to make me happy. Oh, sorry, I don't want to seem like I'm boasting. Oh, I don't mind. I'm the one that asked you to tell me all of this. So these days, there are bits of his life that wouldn't be out of place in a romantic comedy. He's an incredibly kind person who's always thinking of me. Surprisingly, Yuji had patiently listened to everything I had to say about Yanagi. I wasn't intending to sound like I was bragging about our relationship, but... whenever I talk about Yanagi, I always end up talking about all my happiest memories with him. Of course, there were many subjects I couldn't delve into, so I had mostly talked about our daily lives together. I see. In return for all that you've told me, let me tell you an old story about my brother. Oh, are you sure? From what I've heard from you, you love my brother even more than I'd imagined. Love. So it had been that obvious. I mean, duh. The desire to know more about someone you're fond of isn't limited to lovers, you know. Please tell me. Oh, but I don't know how I'd feel about hearing his secrets. A childhood memory should be fine. As for his high school days, he hardly resembles that anymore. He'd probably be angry if I talked about them. Oh, I've heard he was a delinquent. Ah, so you know. In that case, I know he doesn't like to talk about it, though, so a cute childhood episode might be better. He was a delinquent, but he only picked fights with bad people, and he never got involved in anything that was all that bad. I didn't want Yanagi to be upset with me, and I honestly did feel a little guilty about this, but I wanted to know more about him. Just a bit. He always got into fights before he came home, but he had a strong sense of obligation. He hated bullying the weak, and he never did it himself. That sounds like him. At that time, I was rather cruel to him. I was always pestering him to go to school, and he'd rebel against me. People saw him as a lone wolf who was unsociable and didn't get along with people. But he had a lot of schoolgirl fans who came over to visit our house. So you're saying he was popular with girls? I never saw him really engage with any of them. Well, yeah, you keep that behind closed doors. I mean, Jesus. So he was the cool, detached type. What was he like as a child? He always had a strong sense of justice. But even when your feelings are strong, when you're small and weak, you can't do much, right? Compared to adults, he was short, small, and weak. And because of that, he cried often. He also hated it when adults helped him. Look at the look on his face talking about his brother. It's so cute. He cried? Yanagi did? He cries all the time when you're not around. He just doesn't want you to know. He's more of a crybaby than he looks. And not because he was bullied. I mostly have memories of him crying because he was angry with himself. He was frustrated because he couldn't live up to his own ideals. You could say he's been a perfectionist since he was a child. I understood a bit of what that was like. At the beginning, you wanted people to praise you or to rely upon you, and those feelings gradually developed into greater ideals. In your mind, you were able to live up to them, but in reality, it was frustrating and difficult to do so. God, that's like the story life right there, huh? Sometimes he'd cry when he lost to me at video games, too. They're so cute. I love the little baby chibis. Wow, you played video games, Yuji? I don't play it all now, but I was addicted to them as a child. Look, it's okay to be an adult playing video games. Shut up. That's why you're here. Even though he said they had never gotten along, there had been times where he and his brother played together, and they had cried and fought when they didn't get along. As I imagined those childhood scenes, my heart was filled with warm and fuzzy feelings. Thank you. I've never really had the chance to ask IG about his past before. I'm glad that we talked about it. It's my thanks to you for enlightening me about what IG is like today. Now, what I'm about to ask you may be a bit rude. Yes? So please let me apologize in advance if this comes across the wrong way. Are you sure you want him? What? I wasn't sure what he was getting at now. As he tilted my head puzzled, Yuji met my eyes with a gravely serious look. You're still young. You have many more chances to find romance. Please, I don't want this to come across in a negative way. I'm deeply grateful to you for supporting my brother. And in fact, I'm so grateful to you that, well, I'm actually a bit concerned for you. I know he's quite troublesome to take care of. Are you really fine with that? I mean, sweetie, Yuji, honey, baby. After this, we're gonna date Shiraishi. And we've kind of already half-dated him before. Yanagi is nothing. In an alternate universe, we're in love with a man in prison. So I'm just saying, it could be worse. We're fine. I finally understood what Yuji was asking, and I answered instantly. I'm not just fine with IG. He's absolutely the man that I want. Also, again, Enomoto is a big, sweet, derpy little puppy dog, so we do kind of love him. Sasazuka verbally and emotionally abuses us in weird ways, but we still love him. Okazaki's just fucking crazy, and we love him, and Shiraishi is fucking Shiraishi. So, I mean, I'm just saying, out of all the troublesome boyfriends in this game, Yanagi is like... I think he's one... Enomoto is probably the easiest one to deal with, because he's just a big, dumb puppy dog. And, like, Yanagi's a little more... like, a little harder to deal with than Enomoto. Well, I think they're tied. Yanagi is just... will you just open up? And Enomoto is like, will you just sit down and calm the fuck down? Jesus Christ. He's a little too excitable. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, they're probably the easiest ones to deal with and the least of our fucking problems out of everyone in this game. Just saying. Fucking A, they're even easier to deal with than Minagishi, for fuck's sake, because he's a little fucking cray-cray. Okay, we loved him, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dude, you know nothing. On the contrary, I find myself often wondering if I'm worthy of him. He's the greatest lover one could ask for. Whoa, girl. I know that's not what she means, but like, hi. And more than I deserve. I answered honestly. In response, Yuji nodded in acceptance, and perhaps relief. I wonder if he's fully accepted me. Although Yuji's initially skeptical attitude had been a convincing act, I was happy to see that he'd acknowledged me. I found myself wanting Yanagi to know that his brother approved of our relationship as well. I'd appreciate it if you could tell IG what you've told me today. Huh? Yuji's eyebrows knitted into dismay. I want your brother to know how much he's loved. Yes, perhaps Yuji's form of love was somewhat self-serving. Still, he cared about Yanagi in his own way. He was struggling to repair his family's bonds, and I felt that his intentions were sincere. He wouldn't have gone out of his way to speak to me if he wasn't. A moment, please. With that, Yuji suddenly took out his phone. Okay. He seemed to be making a call. While I watched, puzzled, someone picked up the line on the other end. For an instant, I saw the corners of Yuji's lips curl up. Hey, it's me. I'm here with Spacey right now. She's a very diligent and composed woman, truly wasted on you. You want to know what's happening? Then come here. We're at a cafe close to the police station. Hurry or you'll be too late. If you value her, that is. Yuji hung up. I looked back with a look of shocked amazement. You're like, did you just threaten to kidnap me or something? She's like, you have a weird way of just telling your brother you want to talk to him and come join us so we can chat together. Weird threatening way. It's like, it's a little odd. Is this what they call tsundere? Oh, sweetie. Yuji looked uncomfortable, but there was also a hint of smugness on his face. How is intentionally causing a misunderstanding to taunt his brother going to help repair their fractured relationship? It's going to get him here fast. You were so sincere until a moment ago. And please don't remind me. Perhaps he was too embarrassed to show his true feelings because of their upbringing. It's easier to open up and be sweet and squishy to a woman, but with like a man, you gotta be tough exterior. Okay, Mochita. If that was the case, I can understand somewhat. Mochita's just not, he does not have a tough exterior fucking at all. He is the squishiest cinnamon bun, okay? He's like, exactly like those snowballs. You know what I mean? Because it's like all pink and squishy. You're like, it's so cute and squishy looking. That's Mochita. Okay? Everyone else might look like hard and tough exterior, but like, you know, more like a chocolate truffle thing, like the Lynch truffles. You know, it's like a hard chocolate exterior. Like, okay, it's hard on the outside, but it's gooey on the inside. Yeah, that's what Mochita was getting at. But Mochita, you were a fucking snowball. You were pink and fluffy and squishy on the outside. And just as squishy, soft, and creamy on the inside. Like, don't even. Tough exterior, my fucking ass. Sorry about that. I had to take a break for a second. And there he is. It was immediately obvious when Yanagi arrived, or rather, attacked. The door to the cafe flew open with a startlingly ferocious bang. Now everyone's focused on us. Yanagi probably didn't care at the moment, but I wonder how he'd feel in a few minutes from now. I wanted to clutch my head in frustration. Hey, Yuji! You piece of shit! Yanagi stormed over in a fury, his breath ragged, and grabbed Yuji roughly by the shirt. Or it's gonna be like, ooh, brothers, lovers quarrel over the girlfriend. What's the meaning of this? What have you done to her? Nothing. Don't play innocent with me. Wait, hold on, Yanagi! At this point, chaos was bound to erupt. I placed my hand on Yanagi's and hurriedly tried to placate him. Please just calm down. He didn't do anything to me. Your brother went out of his way to apologize to me. What? His eyes went wide. That smug expression flashed over Yuji's face for an instant, but he seemed to realize that I'd noticed and looked away awkwardly. He's like, I got him riled up. Like, what a dick. A few minutes later, you should have just said so. After I explained the situation, Yanagi slumped into a chair. I knew how he felt. The phone call made this seem like a real crisis. After we finished apologizing to the staff and other customers, the tension finally settled down. Sorry, we're just fucking with my boyfriend, and... Well, that's the truth of it. I'm sorry for the way I handled things without bothering to discuss it with you. As usual, Yuji was dramatically less friendly in front of his brother. However, he had in fact actually apologized. Even Yanagi looked a little confused. Alright. From now on, I'll say what I really want to say. His voice was tired, but the words were firm. Although I felt this could have gone more smoothly, they had both made real progress. Come see the family soon. Mom and Dad are waiting. Yeah. You too, Spacey. If you're thinking about marrying IG, we'd love to have you over sometime. What? Marriage? I couldn't say I'd never considered it, but it was a shock to have Yuji suddenly bring it up in front of Yanagi. I mean, it's like a common theme today, huh? You're surprised, huh? IG, you're gonna do what needs to be done, aren't you? Of course I've thought about it. I don't need you to tell me what to do. When it comes to women, you often won't get your point across unless you clearly say what you want. You're the last person I ever want to get advice on women from. Unfortunately for you, I'm the one with a wife and a child, so listen to the voice of experience. Don't make her worry. Stop beating around the bush. We've been dating like 4 months. I love how fast everybody in Japan moves. I mean, Jesus. Could you fucking imagine? How many relationships have you had that didn't end in marriage? Okay, all but one. That were longer than 4 months. I don't want to think about it. I forget. Like, look, once a relationship's over, I'm like, forgotten. Most of the time. I remember certain things. Like, you're an asshole. How long did you date and when? Beats the fuck out of me, but they were an asshole. I remember that. But, like, seriously? Could you imagine if every single look, the older you get, the more you think about these things. Because, like, when you're young, you're like, whatever, you have a relationship, you're fine, you're not thinking about it. When you get old, you're like, we've been dating for 3 days. Are we getting married or what? Like, we need to move this shit along. Because you don't have as much time ahead of you as you have behind you. But, like, when you're, like, in your teens and 20s, you're like, I got plenty of fucking time. Like, we've been dating like a year. It's fine. There's a point where you're like, okay, you either need to shit or get off the pot. Like, fucking, I don't know, just what the fuck? Like, the people are like, we've been dating for like 10 years. Are you going to get married or what? Like, if you're not into marriage, you're like, no, we're just going to be like life partner. Cool. But, like, if you're like, I mean, like, someday, it's been 10 fucking years, you're going to get divorced because it never... Seriously? What the fuck? Like, but who in their world is like 21 and we've been dating for 4 months? Oh my God, my clock is ticking. Let's go. Like, Jesus. When you're 30s, then you're like, it's been like 4 months. Is this like going to be for reals or are you just dicking around? Because I ain't got the time for this shit. And beyond that, it's like, again, you're like, let's just die together. Because, I mean, I'm going to die alone in the nursing home. Might as well get me some dick. I don't know. Like, the older you get, the faster you go in relationships. Because you're, again, ain't nobody got time for this shit. But when you're 21, like 4 months, what? We're getting married already? Jesus. Talk about moving fat. I mean, look. Every relationship is different. But in general, it's not like you've been dating for 4 fucking years and you're like, are we gonna tie the knot or what here? It's 4 months. Jesus Christ. This brother needs to simmer the fuck down. Shut up. I don't need you to tell me that. Either that or they're like, I need to tie her down because, like, she gotta run because she's too good for you. Like, sure, that, I guess. While the brothers sniped back and forth, I felt my heart pounding in my chest. Yanagi just said that he'd been thinking about it. We'd only started dating several months ago. He'd given me a ring, but I thought the topic of marriage wouldn't come up for a long time. Yet, I couldn't deny how giddy I felt knowing that he'd been thinking about our future together. Ugh, sorry for all the trouble Yuji caused. After that, Yuji had excused himself from the cafe, saying he had to go back to work. I had been on the way home from my night shift, so Yanagi walked back with me. We worked... Oh, so I missed night shift, so it's the morning time. I was like, why would he be going... I'm thinking, like, we worked late night, and it's like 2 a.m. and we're getting off work or some shit. Not like we worked overnight, and it's like 8 a.m. Okay, that makes sense where he's at work. I was like confused for a second. It's also broad daylight out, so whatever. Sometimes the backgrounds are perfect. Anyway. So Yanagi walked back with me, thinking about that. Both of us were embarrassed, so the atmosphere was a little awkward. You must be tired after your night shift. I hope he didn't run his mouth and talk your ear off. Oh, your brother was very pleasant. He told me so much about your childhood. I really enjoyed listening to his stories. What dirt did he dredge up this time? Yanagi's eyes popped open in surprised horror. His reaction was just too adorable. I couldn't hold back my smile. Like how you'd cry when you lost at video games? That was when I was really little. I hadn't even started school yet. How popular you were with girls in high school? Oh, ugh. Not many of them actually talked to me. Actually, I don't think any of them did. How they'd swarm your house and leave mountains of chocolates on Valentine's Day? I don't remember those chocolate mountains. Also, how your motorcycle was wrongfully impounded for illegal parking, so you got into a fist fight with a cop. Please stop. I was actually going to laugh myself, and then she did anyway. Please stop. Unagi's face was bright red. After I finished giggling, I looked up at him. The better I got to know Unagi, the deeper in love I fell. I loved the good parts, the bad parts, everything. I bet I would have fallen for you if we'd known each other in high school. No way. I was really a street punk, you know. But you've never changed who you are at your core. You've always been a forthright person. Maybe you're right. I really haven't matured very much. I think I would have fallen for you too. Oh, I guess we did meet once. We didn't really get to know each other. Yeah. It had been over 10 years since the first time I'd encountered Unagi. It was a bitter memory for both of us. If I hadn't met you, we both would have had very different futures. I never thought that I was worse off for having known you. My memories of that incident were vague. Even today, I couldn't remember much of it. But the gentle voice of the boy who had saved my life still echoed in my breast. I felt guilty my entire life, ever since I ended that person's life. And I've never stopped regretting the trauma I must have caused you. I think I used to wish that you just forget it all. I kind of forgot this, but I don't think that anymore. This is cute. And it's like also because like the sunspot in it and like the lighting, it's just like they do a good job with like the effects on the fucking CGs. Just make them pop a lot, you know? And it's because I really regret my past decisions that I can face reality with you hand in hand. And that's how completely you've saved me. Yeah. Although she has fucking jellyfish hair here. She really does. It's like short all the way around on above and then like, why do they do that? What is, like, look, jellyfish are cool and all, but I don't want one on my fucking head. Unless it's like a clip or some shit. But like, not my hair. It's like weird. His hand firmly clasped mine. I returned the gesture and to return his feelings. It's natural for all of us living to want to avoid suffering. It's easy to tell others to learn from mistakes or that painful experiences help them grow. But it's much harder to accept those lessons yourself. I don't think that strength of will alone is enough to overcome all pain and sadness. But no matter how painful the past is, we all have the power to create our own present. Even if I haven't fully come to terms with it, I'll never forget what you've taught me. That's how I feel today. I felt Unagi could only express that sentiment because of everything he'd overcome. And now those words resonated with me. I had been deeply hurt during the X-Day cases, and I had yet to completely move past that trauma. But now, rather than running away from the pain, I wanted to face it and overcome it. Ugh. Our little past self. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Okay, this CG is great, because I just love them. There's like the overlay of their past selves. I wouldn't be the woman I am now without growing out of the woman I used to be. Back then, I had been crushed by terror and hopelessness, but now I was walking hand in hand with my partner. We wouldn't have what we did today without the experience we'd gone through together in the past. I'm so glad I met you. While we're in the area, there's a place nearby that I want to take you. I'll go anywhere with you. You know that. Thanks. I have a feeling that we'll take another step forward. Unagi's eyes were practically beaming. Is he going to ask you to marry him, like, right now, right after his brother said it? Because, I mean, like... Oh, right. My brother mentioned us getting married, remember? Eh? Unagi suddenly changed the subject as we arrived at my front door. You're like, it's been 2 weeks! Just kidding. The thought of marriage had shaken me before, and it once again threw me for a loop. Like, this girl has been on a roller coaster today with all the marriage talk. Don't worry about it. You don't have to take Yuji's words at face value. I'm sorry you had to deal with his antics. To be honest, hearing this from Unagi shocked me as well. Don't worry about it? How could I not worry about that? I had a feeling I knew why Unagi had said this. Don't take Yuji at face value? In the few months that we'd been dating, we'd come to know each other well and had started to be more open about our inner feelings. There was still some distance between us, and it felt like Unagi's part. And felt like Unagi... it felt like it was on Unagi's part. Okay, that makes sense. That's right. There are some things he won't know unless I say them out loud. Mochida's advice had been to voice issues before they snowballed into larger problems. Like, we needed that advice. Mochita, you needed to give us that advice in Enomoto's route before we flipped off the fucking handle and were pissed at him because some girl wished him a happy birthday and we thought he was lying, cheating scumbag. And he was like, it's my sister. I know we talked about it, but I'm just saying, she flipped her fucking shit and was going to storm out before he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck? Enomoto was a bigger person than us in that instance, okay? Which is shocking because Enomoto is like 12. Right? Yanagi, I wanted to be closer to him, and I translated those feelings into words Yanagi would understand. Smack! Stupid! I want to fight with you? Why would that be an option? I mean, I have a guide, but like, I want to fight with you. He's like, okay. And what? I understand what she's probably trying to say. I want to fight with you. I want to fight because then that means that we love each other and we can work past any issues. You're kind of resolving like Mochita being like, oh, we fight when we need to because you know what, and we work past it right off the bat. But like in this situation, it's like, oh, don't take my brother at face value. Don't worry about it. And you're like, I want to fight with you. Could you, from Yanagi's perspective, he'd be like, the fuck just happened? Like, crazy. Anyway, I want you to marry me. Oh, okay. Wait, what? That's the reason why you gave me this ring, isn't it? And you said that you take responsibility for everything. I mean, I did feel that way, but that doesn't take your feelings into account. Well, if you don't really want to go through with it, I'm not going to force you. But if you do, then I want you to stop feeling like you need to hold yourself back for me. I bluntly stated my feelings on the matter, and Yanagi stood there for a few seconds, blinking. He's like, okay. He's like, I planned the wedding for Sunday. He's like, what? Then he chuckled for some reason. It turned into a full-on belly laugh, full of joy. I never dreamed that you'd propose to me so aggressively. We kind of have to do that for all these motherfuckers, don't we? Like, Yanagi? You know, it took a lot of courage to say that. Sorry, you're right. I've been unsure of myself for a long time. I don't have any reservations about spending my life with you. It's just timing. Huh? I couldn't settle on a wedding date. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that's a decision we make together. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I'd rather give you no chance to run. I'd marry you right here, right now. But that's problematic for a lot of reasons. You have to lay the groundwork for these things. Well, yes, but, she's like, I want to get married. And he's like, yeah, okay, so I'd marry you right now. And she's like, wait. I meant at some point, I wanted you to be aware that I would totally accept you, and now we're planning what happened? Now we're the ones confused. And so I haven't been sure how to approach it, and I was trying to make a plan. What were you gonna do? Bring me someplace and be like, here's your wedding. Pick out my dress for me? Dude, it just doesn't feel right to come out and say it, so I was doing it all in secret. Okay? Sakuragawa had been surprisingly, bizarrely, completely on the mark about Yanagi. And I wasn't denying that I was beyond thrilled to hear him say all of this. I mean, come on. Like, if you loved someone and even if you'd only been dating a short while and they were like, no, let's totally get married, you'd be like, oh my god, okay. Not like, are you ever gonna, like, are we going anywhere? Like, when we were sitting down with my brother, he decided on his own to involve your future in our family business. I'll be honest, you're still young and I'd be lying if I said our age difference wasn't a cause for concern. It's 7 years. This does not bother me. Okay, Yanagi, you and I are on the same fucking page with the age difference shit. But the only time it bothers me is when we're like 15 or 16 and dating someone that's old enough to be your goddamn father. 7 years is fucking nothing. And if she were 21 dating a 41-year-old, it'd be like, that's a little extreme. But it's not nearly as creepy as a 16-year-old dating a 36-year-old. That's fucking creepy. I know it's a 20-year age difference, but it makes a fucking difference. If you're 40 and 60, you're like, well, you're both basically dead anyway. Look, let's not get into that. But like, you're like, whatever. 30 and 50, whatever. 20 and 40, that's a little bit weird. 16, or you go to 18 and 38. Fuck, that's gross. It's 2 fucking year difference between 18 and 20, but it makes a big ass fucking difference in age gaps. It's still weird when you're early 20s dating someone who's like there's a 20-year age difference. It's still a fucking deal. But like 7 years doesn't fucking mean shit, okay? Call me when you're old enough to be my fucking dad. That would be us dating fucking what's-his-face, right? Why can't I think of his name right now? Anyway, that would be us dating him. Maybe. But like, well, I mean, for fuck's sake, she was 10-year difference, because isn't Minagishi like in his 30s? It's like, wow, was he really only in his, well, he was like, was he 35, mid-30s? That's a big age difference. It's like a 14-year age difference. That's kind of big. But it's not as creepy if we were like playing, oh, I'm like a high school girl. I don't care if you're a senior in high school, bitch. That's gross. But once you hit that over 20, it's a little less creepy. Could be slightly uncomfortable. Like, this is a little weird, but okay. There's a line, all right? There's a fucking line. But anyway, 7-year age difference is nothing. So he's overacting more than I do about age differences, is all I'm saying. But I know those reasons are all trivial, and I want this so much more than I don't. Remember, I said that I wouldn't hand you over to anyone. I get that in his mind, he's like, you're young, are you sure you want to get married at 21? I mean, there's a lot of people who do. Sorry for jumping to conclusions. Of course I wasn't unhappy to hear how passionately Yanagi wanted to monopolize me, but it was a bit embarrassing. Yanagi coughed to clear his throat once he saw me blushing. I noticed that his cheeks were red, so it must have been awkward for him to say all that too. Fucking awkward idiots, I kind of love them. I think we've both been constructing these strange obstacles in our head to rationalize holding back, but I'm glad that you told me how you feel. See, I don't mind where she's being like, this is a little awkward and embarrassing, because he's being awkward and embarrassed too, and where we're both being awkward, embarrassed weirdos, it's cute. But if a guy's like, I love you, and she's like, oh my god, that's so weird, I'm so embarrassed, or embarrassed about a kiss in private, that fucking is like, that irritates me. This, I mean, you're like, oh, okay, we're not, you know. I don't think it's so much like, oh my god, this is embarrassing, it's like, giggling, you know. Me too. We both nodded, just barely avoiding eye contact. Because, I mean, low-key, like, I'm a little like, so cute. Not that it's any of my concern. Would you two just quit flirting in front of the whole neighborhood? You're still in public, you know. And now we're really embarrassed. Kazuki had just gotten home. I jerked my gaze away from Yanagi so violently it almost made a sound. Kazuki, you're home early? Oh, excuse me for coming home to my own place early. But if I'm interrupting, I'll leave. That's not what I meant. Kazuki seemed to be in a foul mood today. I thought it better not to provoke him, but Yanagi took a step in his direction. Huh? Yanagi was looking straight at my brother. Oh my god. Perfect timing. Kazuki, mind if I talk to you for a minute? Are you going to ask my brother's permission to marry me? That's kind of adorable. He's also younger than me, and he doesn't have a say in what I do, but I appreciate the gesture, I guess. What? I want to have a talk, man to man. I felt like a new fire was about to break out. Perfect timing, chapter 4! So, since I had to stop a couple of times in the recording for reasons. I'm not 100%, I think we're roughly an hour. So, we're roughly around time. I'm going to stop here and we will continue chapter 4 in the next part and see what happens. But then we have one more chapter and then our ending. So, probably 2 more parts, I would assume. At least just to get to the good ending. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.